Hey guys, this is Nick. Today I'm going to be going through my car, getting it ready for Road Atlanta this Friday for Track and Coffee, and just going to be going over everything, just torquing stuff, making sure that nothing looks out of place, because I am going to be driving the car the whole 3 hours there, 30 minutes on the track, 3 hours back. So we're going to have to go through everything, make sure it's all right. And I feel pretty confident about everything on the engine. I've gone through pretty much everything except for taking the intake manifold off, and besides that I've turned every nut and bolt, and I feel pretty confident that that's all good to go, no issues there. But when I bought the car, I noticed that the bleeders on the brake calipers on the front are on the bottom, not on the top, and that means that this car comes with 1 piston brakes, and it has the 2 pistons from the 99 to 04. It's got PBR calipers on it, and I believe that when the previous owner installed those, he installed the driver's side on the passenger side upside down and vice versa, and now the bleeders are pointed down, which means that there's air, or there should be liquid on top of where that bleeder is, and since it's underneath it, we're not going to be able to bleed out all the air that's stuck at the top. So I think I'm gonna jack the car up, disconnect the calipers, and swap them out between the two, and then we'll bleed it from there. Right now I'm looking at the GoPro through my phone, and yeah, look at that bleeder at the bottom. That should definitely be at the top because we can't get all the air out of the system there. Let's get to it. You can see I got one on the frame rail right there, and the other hooked up right under this K-member. This isn't making contact with anything. It isn't really, it's not a good place to put weight, but in the case of emergency where my first 2 jack stands fail, those are there, and the jack is still in place, putting pressure on the car. All of the weight of the car is actually on the jack. So the last time that I took these wheels off, they were seized on there, pain in the ass to take off. Put a bunch of anti-seize on these 2 mating surfaces right here, and you just saw how easy it was to come off. So I'm gonna make sure, maybe add a little bit more on when I'm about to throw this back on. You're gonna wanna use a 6-point 15mm socket for the 2 bolts that hold the caliper to the knuckle. I'm gonna go ahead and crack this 10mm banjo bolt loose so that once I get the caliper off, it's easy to remove. Make sure that you got a drain pan underneath ready to catch any brake fluid. This stuff is extremely corrosive. Also keep in mind, it could eat through whatever you're using, so using something like this that's made for this type of stuff is definitely the way to go. What I typically do to get the calipers off is stick a flat head through here, pry up on it a little bit. Try not to get it on any contact surfaces of the brake pads or the rotor, and then a little easier with 2 hands, you can just slide it off from there. So then I'm just going to remove that bolt all the way, and then as quickly as I can I'm going to swap out these 2 calipers. So I cleaned up the connection where the brake line connects to the caliper on both sides of it, and I could go through, clean it more, put new crush washers and stuff on it. I'm gonna replace these brakes soon, so I'm not worried. Got a little bit of anti-seize on these bolts. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just attach this to this. Since I'm not worried about air at this point, I'm just gonna make sure that this is cracked loose so that whenever I push this, put this caliper back on, if it's a little bit tight, the pistons will be free to push themselves in a little bit, so that way it's not as much of a pain in the ass to install. Alright, we are going to seal that brake line up because that thing is fucking leaking. If you guys need brake or carburetor cleaner, I would 100% recommend buying this from Walmart for $2 a can instead of whatever they're selling at O'Reilly's for like $6 a can. I'm not too sure what brake fluid does on brake pads, but I don't care to find out. We're gonna hit a little bit of that. All right, so we got the calipers flipped around, and as you can see, the nipple is upright on both sides of the car. All right, so we got this ugly ass spare on because this asshole right here. So I'm gonna bring that a Discount Tire, get it patched up. I would, since I'm gonna be on a road course, I'd much rather have them take the tire off, patch it from the inside, do it right, rather than me patch it myself. But we got everything all together. Brakes are on the correct side, the bleeders are on. So tomorrow, so the plan is on the way to my job right now. I'm going to drop these off at a Discount Tire, and I'm probably not going to be able to pick them up today, but the job I'm doing tomorrow is right by the Discount Tire I plan on going to, so I'll probably pick them up in the morning tomorrow. And before I leave to go and get them, I'm going to bleed all 4 of the brakes. I have these one-way check valve brake bleeders that I'm going to try to install on there and see how they do, and I'm going to film the process of that. And then from there, it's just going to be going over little things and just making sure the oil's right, all the bolts are tight, and there's nothing weird that's out of place that needs to be taken care of or something, because I'm about to put a whole lot of stress on this whole car. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope that you check out my other videos.